What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Thursday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. Over the course of this video, we're going to be giving you the latest from the PGMOL around Paul Tierney's, let's say, dereliction of duty, and I'm being kind with that one. Last night in the Merseyside derby, we're going to give you Arne Slot's take on Liverpool's goal. We're going to speak a little bit about Diogo Jota and his future, and a couple of other interesting bits and pieces over the course of the next 8 to 10 minutes. We do want to know your thoughts though, my friends, so feel free to let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, and of course we'd love you to hit that subscribe button. Now, the tickets are absolutely flying along, so I wanted to let you know again that if you would like to come and see us for one of our 2 end of season shows, we will be at the Hot Water Comedy Club for the last day of the season, May 25th. You can find the tickets for that or a May 28th reunion show, both at the Hot Water, both all ages events, and both available with the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on the screen. I don't know what a cone is, but that's a QR code right there, ladies and gents. So scan that one, and we hope to see you there. Right, let's get into it because there is a lot to get through. So I want to give you a bit of a stat for first and foremost. Last night we were watching the game. Some good stuff, some bad stuff, some frustrating stuff. But one thing that kept coming up over and over again was the amount of crosses that Liverpool were aimlessly just throwing into the box. Mika Richards on Match of the Day last night actually quantified this. There was 30 crosses put in from wide areas last night from the Reds. How many of them do you think made it to a Liverpool shirt? 30 now. 15? 10? Nope. 4. 4. From 30 crosses, 4 of them went to a Liverpool player, be they from corners, balls in from wide areas, free kicks, which kind of proves the point that we were moaning about last night. Just aimless balls in, and they were being mopped up by the Everton defence. This is something that we definitely do need to look at moving forward, because that's a laughable amount. 30 crosses for 4 Liverpool targets. Anyway, the PGMOL. We were furious last night, and to be fair, most people were. I tuned into back pages tonight on Sky Sports News, as I always do, and fair play to Henry Winter, by the way. You've often heard me complaining about some journalists. Well, Henry Winter last night stood up for what was right and said exactly what we were all thinking, that it was a disgrace. That was his words, by the way. That's how firm he was. It was a disgrace. Paul Tierney didn't surprise us, Liverpool fans, that he didn't send the ref to the monitor on that one. We know what we're up against there, and I'm sure other Premier League fans will have had similar instances with other officials. But what we have to stop now is this pretense that the PGMOL's officials are able to do their jobs, maybe without removing some of the frustrations they've had in the past from run-ins with managers or whatever. Paul Tierney not doing his job last night was a disgrace. The referee gets to see these things once in real time. I always have a bit of sympathy for the referees, but for Tierney not to send them to the monitor, it was shocking. But at least today we have an admittance from Howard Webb and the PGMOL that they did fail in their duty and it was an incorrect decision. Much like many of us felt the decision to award Everton's equaliser was as well. But on this one, Paul Joyce writes, the PGMOL has acknowledged that Everton captain James Tarkowski should have been red carded for his challenge on Liverpool's Alexis McAllister. It's quite simply an embarrassment to football that wasn't a red card. Anybody that watched it, all former players, Mike Dean on Sky, everybody knew straight away that was, well, it was a horrendous tackle. Didi Hamann went a little bit further, said one, Tarkowski knew what he was doing, and any player who's played the game would know that, he said, and that it was a coward's tackle, and that it was. Never mind the fact Tarkowski looks like a nice lad and smiles and all the other stuff. It was an absolutely horrendous challenge that deserves, well, retrospective action in the very least, because that could have broke McAllister's leg. So we move on now to Luis Diaz's goal. David Moyes seemed to think it was offside. And look, if I'm being really honest about this, I can understand his frustration. But to the letter of the law, it was correct. Now, I'm old school. I think if any player is coming back from an offside position anywhere near the ball, it should be offside. But what I want doesn't matter here. The rules of the game, as they're put out there, were followed correctly in that one, and the goal has to stand. So, on Luis Diaz, our manager said that he adds, the rule was executed how it should be, but I don't like the rule. And again, honestly, there from Arne Slot. It isn't a great rule, but it is the rule that's there, hence why the goal stood. Diaz didn't look to play or impede Tarkowski when he was looking to play the ball. After that, yes, he was involved in the next phase, so I get David Moyes' frustration, but it was a perfectly valid goal under the rules, at least how they're written. So let's talk about David Ornstein now. And midfield signings in particular may be coming into Liverpool. This is where you're seeing the revisionism once again from some journalists around the summer window. But that won't surprise many of us who see this season after season. So speaking about midfield signings, David Ornstein said, "This doesn't seem to be a department at the top of the priority list. And if that's the case, you can understand why. I can't, David. I really can't, because we've been seeing this season that we have no cover for Gravenberch. He doesn't trust Endo to play a whole game." But he goes on to say, "Zubimendi was viewed as a market opportunity, and when Liverpool's pursuit didn't come to fruition, they decided against pivoting to another target. It was who he wanted. That call appears to have been vindicated with Gravenberch's outstanding season, Endo's contributions, McAllister's consistency, and Jones shining when called upon." Again, I think this is a little bit of revisionism. We still need that body. Now, if that body is by Cecic, I'm absolutely fine with that. But we can't be again thinking that Gravenberch hasn't been run into the ground this season because we haven't had other options. We need realism here in these conversations. So, speaking about the future of our attacking options, this is what James Pearce of The Athletic had to say. "Much depends on what offers are forthcoming, but the most likely outcome is that Núñez leaves this summer and Liverpool brings somebody in to provide greater competition alongside Jota." So, some reports here from James Pearce that Jota will stay. Newcastle have been mentioned as being interested in Diogo, but nothing said here about Luis Diaz. I think we'll see 2 of the 3 forwards moved on, but as long as Darwin Núñez is shipped out and a real goal poacher brought in, at least we're on the right track there. So let me know your thoughts on that one. And who would have thought it, but Gary Neville has come to Liverpool's defence. I know, never thought he'd see the day. And I'm not talking about last night's PGMOL incident. I'm talking about the season in general. This is what Gary's had to say. "People need to stop rewriting history, saying it's been a disappointing season. It's been an unbelievable season for Liverpool. We all thought there would be a drop-off after Jurgen Klopp, but there wasn't." And he's right. Many people are trying to rewrite this season, namely Arsenal fans, saying it's a PGMOL title. It's another title for Liverpool when everybody else has fallen away. You ask Liverpool fans if we feel this is a PGMOL given title after some of the nonsense that we've seen. And we're aware that it happens to all clubs. We're not trying to play the victim here. We're not trying to say it's only us. The PGMOL's officials have been subpar all season, but they absolutely have not been in our favour. Whatever about these things evening themselves out, but that belittlement of our achievement once again, saying it's a PGMOL title, it's just sour grapes from a club and a set of fans that just weren't good enough to do it this season, and Arne Slot found consistency, and that's why we'll win the league. So that is it for me, ladies and gentlemen, for now, but we will talk through all of this in far more detail tonight. 8:45, the late night agenda. Hope you can join us for it. We'll talk through last night. We'll look ahead to the game coming up against Fulham as well, and we do appreciate your ongoing support. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.